This is the Daily Tech News for Thursday, February 13th, 2025. We tell you what you need to know, follow up on the context of those stories, and help each other understand.
Today, Mitsula gives us a review of the new Netflix restaurant in Las Vegas. Yes, you heard that right. Netflix restaurant.
I'm so confused. I'm Jason Howell.
I'm Huyen.
Let's start with what you need to know with the big story. Apple CEO Tim Cook took to X to announce a product launch for next Wednesday, February 19th, saying, quote, "Get ready to meet the newest member of the family." Oh, the post shows an animated GIF or GIF, depending on who you are, of a liquid metallic Apple logo. It's surrounded by this slowly pulsing circular indentation. And of course, as is always the case, everyone's working hard to decipher any sort of clues from the image. Some are thinking it looks like an AirTag. Others are going way bigger with the hopes of like smart glasses or something like that. But we've got Bloomberg's Mark Gurman to tell us probably with high likelihood what it actually is, convinced that this signals the arrival of the long-rumored update to the iPhone SE. Gurman has been sharing details of an upcoming launch of the new phone targeting next week since last Thursday. So the timing of this new tweet that happened just today seems to fall in line with Gurman's prediction. The unannounced iPhone SE is rumored to feature a design similar to the iPhone 14. It'll have an A18 chip, Apple Intelligence, larger display, USB-C connectivity. Gurman also shares that the SE will be the first to use Apple's in-house cellular modem. It's going to replace the one that they've used for so long by Qualcomm. The new SE will not have the home button, and this is actually a big deal because it marks the end of that interface since being introduced in the very first iPhone back in 2007. It is also expected to support Face ID instead of Touch ID. That kind of makes sense if the home button's disappearing. And finally, it might have an action button, to tie into the rear-facing camera or whatever you want it to actionize. Gurman expects that the new device will go on sale sometime later this month. You won't have to wait very long. It'll be priced similarly, he says, to entry-level devices by Google and by Samsung. Cook's tweet appears to be a teaser, so don't go hoping that this is some sort of event invite. It's possible that whatever Apple announces will be done with more like a press release approach in the Apple Newsroom website. This also lines up with Gurman's reporting from last week, where he said that he indicated that it's unlikely we'll see other major announcements as well. So don't expect a Vision Pro update. Although Gurman has shared that the Apple Vision Pro reps are actively contacting press about an upcoming announcement, probably not this one. And this last point is kind of a side note on this, but definitely worth noting the fact that Tim Cook made this announcement on X. This happened on the same day that Apple has resumed advertising on the social media platform, which it had first halted its ad business there more than a year ago after there were controversial comments made by that platform's CEO, Elon Musk. So I'm curious, Apple hasn't updated the iPhone SE since 2022, so about 3 years ago. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, we live so much of our lives in the Android world, but is there something about the SE that you like, that you wish we had?
I'm just still fascinated because, a lot of times with gestures or, not gestures necessarily, but specific, UI features and a big one like the home button. A lot of like a user, I feel like a button like that is obviously central to a user's experience. I haven't, to be fair, used an iPhone very much, but it's such a kind of primary point of interaction with the phone. I am so curious about what they're replacing the home button with. And this is like where, as an Android user, my experience is falling short. Like, is there already like a gesture that replaces it? Is it going to be something? And I wonder, like, not to, put my tinfoil hat on, but that circular kind of pulse, like that circular round pulse that was in the teaser, it kind of makes me wonder, is that just the replacement for the home button? Is there going to be a gesture or some kind of animation or something that's, representing, because it kind of looks like the home button a little bit. But
I was kind of wondering if it's like a dimple on the back of the phone.
Yeah.
You remember those old Motorola phones? They had like the slight indentation with the Motorola logo in it. It's very satisfying because your finger could just like rest there. Before, I think rear facing fingerprint sensors were a big deal, but
I do miss that. I do miss the notch. And that does feel very I guess Apple-y, because Apple's all about the, the consummate, like the holistic experience of a device and of hardware.
Yeah.
So I think that actually would be a cool idea if we want to keep our tinfoil hats on. But I'm just kind of curious to see what that means for the operating system experience. And I mean, do users use, iOS folks, do you use the home button a lot, or is it just something maybe they found that,
Well, I think, I also don't live much of my life in the iPhone world necessarily, but I do know that they've been doing gestures for a long time. And this is really, at this stage, my understanding is the iPhone SE getting rid of the home button. This is kind of like the last frontier. This is the last device that still has one. So they've had one for a long time. They've really phased it out on most of the other models. It's just, for whatever reason, the one released in 2022 still had one. Now they're letting it go and they're going all in on Face ID instead of that Touch ID integration into the home button, that sort of thing. So I don't think it's as much of a challenge to kind of work around that because they do have the gestures. Mm-hmm. But I do have a question for you about the iPhone SE, because my daughter, my older daughter, the first iPhone that she bought with her own money, because I've got tons of free Android devices, right? And I said, if you want to get an iPhone, you gotta buy it. She bought the 2020 iPhone SE. And so that was my first time with that. And it is a very small device. These devices, definitely qualify as a smaller smartphone, sub, 5-inch smartphone. Apple's throwing some love that way. And I guess the question that I have is, is it too limited? Are devices that are smaller too limited in ways, like, is it enough of it like a premium smartphone when it's smaller? Because I know on Android, usually smaller comes with less power, but here you're still getting, your A18 chip. You're still getting a lot, it's the first time for that cellular modem. It doesn't sound like there's many trade-offs other than a single camera for this smaller device. That's great for small phone fans.
Yeah, I think there's small phone fans. They're more out there than you think. And I think even myself, I miss the days of a small phone. And we haven't seen too many small flagship phones. I think the biggest example I can think of was, just to go to the other side of the aisle, the Google Pixel 9, which came in two sizes, like the flagship version came in two sizes. So I don't think so. I think a lot of times there are plenty of people, small hand people, or just people that don't have a lot of like finger flexibility
or pocket room.
And I love the idea though that small could also be premium. Yeah. And that, given that we've seen a lot of phones just emphasize thinness and like thinness, I'm not sure why we can't just apply that same level of engineering and squeeze in as much as possible from a height perspective. So I'm excited. And actually, I think there's something... there feels like there could be something very aptly also about creating a sophisticated, well-built, but in a sense, simpler experience, like powerful, but still simplified experience. So I think that still could be very aptly to create something awesome and small. It was kind of funny. My husband and I were not like lamenting the old days, or kind of finally remembering the old days of like the iPod Nano and all the versions of the iPods. And man, weren't those really great devices, and how small they were, and how portable they were.
Cute.
They were so cute. So maybe, I don't know, this is maybe taking some of that like previous ingenuity and design back. I'm into it. I really do. And I do think there's a market for small phones. More, please. More.
Yeah, I agree. And we're not going to have to wait too long to find out, it sounds like, unless we're totally surprised. But I have a feeling Gurman knows what he's talking about.
Well, Daily Tech News Show is made possible by its listeners. Thanks to all of you, including D-Laser, Brad, and Kevin Morgan. And welcome new patrons, Ian, Matt, and David.
Yeah, welcome. Oh. Good to have you here. All right, there's more we need to know today. Let's get right into the briefs, Huyen.
OpenAI's Sam Altman took to X to share a little bit about the company's roadmap, saying that the current offerings have become a little too complicated for lots of people to parse. So Altman says that GPT 4.5 will be the last model to lack chain thought. So all future models will include reasoning capabilities. And beyond that, OpenAI is canceling the release of the O3 reasoning model. And instead, GPT-5 will integrate O3 and be offered for unlimited use by free users at the standard intelligence settings. Paid users will gain access to even higher levels of intelligence. But we don't really have an exact timeline that was shared for either of these releases other than weeks or months. Nothing finer than that. So
yeah, OpenAI is really sharing a lot right now about what's coming. And you have to imagine, all the pressure that they've been feeling from the DeepSeek news is why we're hearing about this a lot in advance. Timeline, that's pretty interesting stuff. Speaking of OpenAI, they have confirmed receipt of an official buyout letter from Elon Musk. However, Musk's lawyers say that the $97.4 billion bid will be withdrawn if OpenAI just ceases its plans to transition to a for-profit business. Now we're starting to see why this happened in the first place. The court filing says that if OpenAI, quote, preserves the charity's mission, the acquisition attempt will be withdrawn. Another quote, otherwise, the charity must be compensated by what an arm's length buyer will pay for its assets, end quote. The charity referred to is OpenAI's non-profit parent company, and Sam Altman has yet to respond publicly to at least this latest development.
Interesting. Google is rolling new child safety features into its products. So later this year, Google will be testing a machine learning feature on YouTube that will assess users' ages when they access adult content. And this machine learning will consider past searches, video categories, and the account's age, like how long the account's been open. If a user is identified as under 18, stricter underage restrictions will automatically be applied. And Google will also expand the rollout of the School Time app for Android devices, which limits features and apps during school hours.
Yeah, that was a feature that was first in their Ace wearables, and now they're bringing it to more devices. Very useful. As a parent, very useful. Amazon is beta testing a shopping feature that will show product results from brand websites for purchase. So searches on Amazon will actually show products from Amazon store, as you have long expected, alongside some products that are only carried on those brands' websites. So you'd click on the product. That would take the user to the website to purchase the item directly. If the brand uses Buy with Prime on Amazon, that Prime perk, things like free shipping, will actually also be offered through the website purchase. No word yet on whether Amazon takes a cut of the third-party sale.
That honestly makes a lot of sense to me and seems kind of smart. It just feels like mostly upside for Amazon.
For sure.
The Apple TV app is now available in the Google Play Store for Android. So it has existed on Google TV living room devices for years. However, the new app is limited in content to Apple TV Plus, MLS Season Pass, and MLB Friday Night Baseball. Apple is updating the Google TV app as well, bringing those content types into the living room app with an option to pay using Google Play billing, of course. Before the update, you just had to subscribe first on another device. So shortcutting a little bit.
Thank you, Apple. As an Android fan.
Thank you.
Apple has its sights on humanoid robots, according to a scoop from Ming-Chi Kuo. An Apple research paper details non-anthropomorphic robots like a Pixar-style lamp, of course. The proof of concept system would be part of a future smart home ecosystem that could also be related to earlier rumors that we've heard of a robotic arm project with an attached iPad display. So an arm attached, with the display attached to it. Kuo says it's early, but it could see a possible mass production timeline of 2028. Which feels kind of fast to me, but who knows? Kuo also points out that Apple's car project was in a very similar early stage of development when it was abandoned last year. So don't get your hopes up.
Chinese internet search and AI company Baidu is planning to bring its Apollo Go robo-taxi service to Dubai in an expansion through the Middle East. So sources say the company is in talks with the United Arab Emirates to bring its fleet services to the area following the company's licensing in Hong Kong at the end of 2024. So Baidu CEO Robin Li told attendees at the World Government Summit in Dubai this week that its vehicles are, quote, 10 times safer than human drivers. Apollo Go is currently operating in 11 cities throughout mainland China. Baidu is also making its AI chatbot free for use starting April 1st. ErnieBot was once a paid feature of its premium search service, and Baidu plans to offer refunds for certain users.
Yeah, they're all feeling that pressure, right? Apple iPhones in China are set to use Alibaba's AI technology, confirming rumors of that collaboration. Alibaba's co-founder Joe Tsai spoke at the World Government Summit in Dubai as well and shared that Apple had talked with many companies in China before deciding on Alibaba to power AI in their iPhones sold in that country. Now, you might wonder why. Well, China's regulations require Apple to partner with a locally accredited company. Features of the upcoming partnership are still unknown. We don't know what they are yet.
Well, say goodbye to one hardware player in the VR space. Microsoft is officially out of the VR hardware business with the transfer of its $22 billion contract for the Integrated Visual Augmentation System, IVAS, to Anduril. This marks the end of the HoloLens project, which was first launched back in 2016. Anduril, led by Palmer Luckey, will now develop a specialized version of the HoloLens for the U.S. Army. This is aiming to enhance soldier capabilities with its augmented reality technology.
Oh, it's been such a long time with HoloLens in Microsoft's portfolio. Got to say goodbye sometime. Those are the essentials for today. Why don't we dive a little deeper in the ongoing stories and follow-up?
So Netflix opened a restaurant in the MGM Grand Casino in Las Vegas this week. It's called Netflix Bites and features, unsurprisingly, Netflix-themed items like Orange is the New Mac and cheese, Bird Boxed, fried chicken, and Red Bite Green Bite for Squid Game. It's obviously a really fun fan idea for fans of Netflix. But how is the food? Well, Tom decided we had to find out.
When I heard that Netflix had opened a restaurant in Las Vegas, the first thing I did was message our friend on the ground in Las Vegas, Mitsula. And I didn't expect you to go right over there for lunch, Mitsula. Thanks for doing that.
Hey, I was driving right by there doing some errands. And you texted me, said, do you want to check out the new Netflix place? And I was like, I need somewhere to go for lunch today. Sure, that'll work.
Fantastic. So tell us all about it. Is it where is it? And you don't happen to know what it replaced, do you, in the MGM?
It replaced their Cafe Avenue Cafe, or it was like their basic cafe. It's the middle of the casino floor. Like when you walk in from the
so
main
easy
lobby,
to get to.
Yeah, when you walk in from you park or you go to the main lobby, you walk in and you go right across the casino floor and you see it straight from the casino floor. It's straight across. It's right there. Just a giant Netflix Bites.
So not hidden away in a corner somewhere.
Yeah, it's not like the other stuff down in the alley, or they have a spot with like a little strip mall kind of area in the back that's got a lot of food court options in it. No, this is like front and center on the casino floor. They are not hiding it. It is definitely there to bring attention.
And you sent me a bunch of photos of it. It looks gorgeous, which it should because it's brand new. You know, what's it like when you go in?
When you walk up, it's got the very similar setup to like the old cafe. Like on the outside, you see the little bar in the front and you see the big Netflix sign, the Netflix Bites sign, and you walk up to the hostess stand. And then there's like really cool artwork all around it. That's kind of like modern artwork inspired by Netflix shows. So there was like one with like the Squid Game guy that's like a hot dog. And there was like one of the Scoops Ahoy people from, Stranger Things. And there was some Bridgerton art. And there was just a bunch of crazy artwork around there. And there was a little glass case. I don't know if it was actually used props or replicas, but there was some like small things from like different shows that were there. And then the menu had, I only had the brunch menu. I got two of the four, apparently there's 4 pages of total menu, but there was like a breakfast and lunch combination on the menu I got. And then there was another dinner menu that I didn't get to see until I saw the menu posted online.
Yeah, I saw that they were doing 3 seatings. They've got breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Sounds like you got the lunch, the brunchy lunch.
Yeah, I went there at like 1:00. It was walk right in. It's only their second day of soft openings. So I don't think very many people even know it's there yet. So.
Yeah, I gotcha. And but it is a, you wait to be seated situation. It's not just walk in, order at the counter.
It's a proper restaurant. Yeah, like we walked in.
Yeah.
They took my information. I got seated immediately, but I was assuming they'll have a wait list if it's busier. They are starting reservations in 2 weeks. So I think those are pretty solid up already, but this is kind of their, let's work the kinks out. Let's get the staff worked in. Let's make sure the kitchen's doing all of its stuff. Let's get some food served. So
on DTNS Live, we joked around about the menu a bit, talked about things we'd like to see. What was it like to order? Like how did the menu appear to you? Were you laughing? And how did you decide what to get?
I mean, the nice thing is the menu that I got was only 2 pages. So it was a little shorter, like the online one's 4. And I was like, ooh, that's a lot of options. So the brunch helped out a little bit. There I kind of wanted to go off shows, but like, not. I just kind of went with whatever sounded good. So that I ended up getting they call them disco fries, but essentially it was poutine that's kind of inspired by glow, which is, some New Jersey fries. And that was pretty solid. And then I got some bulgogi tacos that are just kind of Korean inspired. I don't know if it's just supporting all of the K-dramas they have on Netflix or exactly
I guess.
what. Now, the table next to me did get the red light, green light chicken from Squid Game, which had the girl doll, and you would spin the wheel and it would land on either red, yellow, or green. And green was the mild, yellow was the medium, and red was the hot sauce for which one you're supposed to dunk your chicken in.
I don't remember a yellow in Squid Game, but that's still fun. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was right. Yeah, it was like, I guess they just had 3 sauces. They're like, well, we got 3 sauces, so let's make it work. So it's red light, yellow in parentheses, green light chicken.
Okay, so it sounds like you can make this as fun and interactive or not as you want. Like there's some more elaborate dishes like that, or just basic tacos.
Yeah, there was a full there's 2 big things that you can get for like the table. They're like packaged things, and there was like one that's like a full Bridgerton tea set. So it was like tea service with finger sandwiches and stuff like that. That was $65. Then there was one that was 11's chicken and waffles, which is she said it was like a 2-tiered platter with like a light side and a dark side. And like the light side was like the waffle or the chicken and some of that stuff. And the dark side was like dark waffles and dark sauces and spices and stuff like that. So that was also $65. That was she said you need a couple people to go through those. You can order it for one, but it's best to have it.
And apparently there's a one-piece sushi boat too.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the One Piece stuff, but I think that was only on the dinner. There wasn't any One Piece stuff I could see.
Okay.
I did see some One Piece themed. The beverage menu was very, very, very intense. There was like a beverage for every Netflix show you can imagine, including like a Stranger Things old fashioned with cotton candy on top of it. That was kind of interesting. And there was like a One Piece drink, and there was a bunch. There was like drinks for every show. I mean, shows I didn't even know Netflix had drinks on there. So.
Right. Yeah, they might get new viewers just based on the menu. Okay, so the important point. How was the food?
The food was actually not horrible. It was pretty solid food for a strip destination type restaurant that could get away with serving mediocre food. The food was actually very good. The poutine, the fries were super crispy. The gravy was good. The cheese curds were nice. The bulgogi was actually really good, and there was a ton of it in those 3 little tacos. Now, it was expensive because it is strip pricing. So it was like $19 for the poutine and like $25 for the tacos, which, $8 a street taco is a little high. But compared to most of the other restaurants in the MGM Grand, it's right on strip pricing. So it is a little expensive, but I think people will enjoy it. It's not going to be, I'm not going to go out of my way to go there, but it was nice.
So a lot of people, I think, look at these prices, at least I did, and think, oh, there's a Netflix surcharge. You're paying for the experience. But it sounds like what you're saying is like, this is pretty normal for where it's at.
I mean, yeah, if tacos are 20, I mean, it's 18 to 20 for an appetizer and 25 to 30 for an entree anywhere on the strip. So the portions were actually pretty decent sized portions. Like I was surprised with the amount of food offered. The table next to me also got these pancakes that had like a donut and a cookie and like a bunch of stuff on it. There was some crazy stuff coming out, as well as some traditional stuff. Like they had basic burgers and some basic sandwiches and stuff like that. But they also had some very festive themed dishes as well.
And quality wise, maybe not like your favorite restaurant and recommend going there all the time, but above expectations, it sounded like.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're not talking 5-star gourmet, but it was definitely very, like on the terms of like cafe food at a hotel cafe, it was better than that. It was pretty solid food offerings.
Okay.
They had for day 2 of a soft open, the food was very good.
Gotcha. Would you recommend, if someone's in Vegas, that it is worth their time?
If you're in the area, I would say it's worth it. I wouldn't be like, let's book a trip to Vegas to go to this. But if you're going to be here for something else, swing by the MGM Grand. It's a nice ad, especially if you're a fan of a particular Netflix show. Like there was Bridgerton stuff. There was, Stranger Things stuff. There was Cobra Kai stuff. There was stuff for all sorts of shows. So, like if you're even in remote Netflix fan, there's something there that you're going to like.
So worth a cab ride, even sounds like maybe.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also that end of the strip. If you're coming to Vegas, you're going to end up on that end of the strip for something. If you're going to a hockey game or a concert or Ka, or something like that on that side of the strip.
Gotcha.
It's definitely worth checking out.
Fantastic. Mitsula, thanks so much for doing that. I appreciate you having lunch for us and sharing your lunch experience.
I mean, anytime you need somebody to go out and eat and report back, I am not going to object. So
fantastic. Yeah, you are now the official food correspondent of Daily Tech News Show. Thank you.
Be right back. I got to go update my LinkedIn profile.
If people do want to follow you, is there a place they should go?
I'm Mitsula pretty much everywhere. Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram. I'm Mitsula on all the things. So I'm not too hard to find.
Fantastic. Thanks, man.
All right. Thank you.
I never thought Netflix would make me hungry. If you like in and of itself, I'm suddenly very hungry. If you have feedback about anything that gets brought up on the show, well, you can get in touch with us on the socials at DTNS Show on X, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and Mastodon. For TikTok and YouTube, you can find us at Daily Tech News Show. We end every episode of DTNS with some shared wisdom. Today, Bob tells us about his amazing timing.
Bob Coburn. Okay, that's weird. Yesterday, I was idly wondering when the next episode of Severance would release, so I went to the Play Store and grabbed the Apple TV Plus app. Barely thought, I wonder when they release that. Apparently, right about the time I went looking.
Sometimes that's just the way it works.
It's just the way it goes.
You're so prescient, Bob.
Kismet.
That's why you listen to Daily Tech News Show, because
Exactly.
you are smart.
Mm-hmm.
You know so much about tech that you could predict things like that. Big thanks to Mitsula and, of course, Bob for contributing to today's show. And thank you for being along for Daily Tech News Show. The show is made possible by our patrons at patreon.com/DTNS. DTNS has a live version called DTNS Live on YouTube, Twitch, and as a podcast. And you can find details on that and so much more at dailytechnewsshow.com. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
The DTNS family of podcasts, helping each other understand.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.